As a programmer, you must know staying up to date is rule number one on a developer's handbook. Well, C# 12 just came out and it brought a new feature you definitely need to know in the future as a C# developer. In this video, you will see why, where we will learn how to implement that feature into our application ourselves. Alright, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the content and learn how to do it. Alright, first things first. Make sure you have the latest version of Visual Studio and .NET 8 installed. As of the filming of this video, the latest version is still in preview, so there will be a few workarounds needed. But don't worry about it, as this only means that if you are watching this in the future, it'll just be even easier for you. In any way, let's check if we got the latest version ready to go. If you already have Visual Studio installed, open the Visual Studio installer, as we will be getting the latest version installed now. If not, make sure to go ahead to the official website and get the installer downloaded for your operating system. With the installer now open, go to the Installed tab. Here you can see your current installed version. If this version is 17.8 or later, then you're good to go. If not, go ahead and move to the Available tab. There you should see either a newer stable version or a preview for 17.8. Get that installed with all of the necessary components, like the .NET Desktop development workload and any other .NET version you might want to have installed and launch. Once you are in the launcher, we get to start the project creation process. For that, let's just start with a simple console application, as today's focus is on the Interceptors. So click on New, Console app, set your project name and location. If you want, set the solution to be at the same place. Make sure to select .NET 8 here and you could keep the rest pretty much the same and create. Good, we got our app running. Now comes the, at least for now, a bit harder part. As of today, getting Interceptors to work requires a bit of extra work, as there is no official implementation for any accessible class there yet. So we will have to work around this a bit. That shouldn't be an issue though, as it's only going to be a few steps. As a starter, we need to enable Interceptors in our project. To do that, double click on your project over here, and this should open this file right here. In here, the used .NET version can be seen, as well as everything that is and is not enabled. One of those things will be the Interceptor, which you enable by adding the following line: Interceptors preview namespaces. With a $sign here, Interceptor preview namespaces again, the name of your project, and close Interceptor preview namespaces here. Great, that step should be done. Next, we're going to get a helper class in. Now, what is a helper class and why do we need it? Well, let me explain. A helper class in programming is a class that provides a set of methods or functions which perform common tasks that are not specific to any particular object. These classes are typically used to avoid code duplication and to promote code reuse. They are often made up of static methods that can be called without needing to instantiate the class. In the context of our example with Interceptors in C# 12, we need a helper class for a very specific reason: the intercepts location attribute, which is crucial for implementing Interceptors, is not yet available in our build of C# 12. So there's no other way than to do it ourselves. So to do that, create a new class in our project and call it, for example, helper class. In this class, we need to set up a namespace first. We will be working in the compiler service namespace, so something like that should work. In here, write a new class, an internal seal class named intercepts location attribute, something like that. Here, internal means this class is accessible only within the same assembly. Sealed indicates that this class cannot be inherited. This is a common practice for attributes to prevent further derivation, which might break or alter them too much. The class intercepts location attribute declares a new class named intercepts location attribute, as we said, and the attribute signifies that intercepts location attribute is a subclass of attribute, making it a custom attribute class just as we wanted. This does lead us to need to know what attributes even are. And we can go in depth into attributes in a future video if you guys want us to do that. But for the sake of this video, we just need to know that attributes are a way to add metadata or declarative information to your code. They are essentially special kinds of classes that can be attached to things like classes, methods, properties, or other elements. They provide a way to add additional information to your code in a declarative manner, which the compiler can then use to modify behavior, enforce rules, or provide insights. Like for our current purpose with interceptors, where we are using a custom attribute to tell the compiler specific details about how and where to apply the interception logic. Attributes are a pretty complex topic. So like said, if you think a dedicated video might be useful, let us know in the comments down below. Okay, next step is to make it actually do something. Essentially, we won't be developing a full interceptor function that already exists. We just want to create a way to use it. So in here, we now need to add the line of code we will be using to access this functionality. Interceptors currently need a file path, the line where the method or interceptor is, and the column at which it starts. To be able to call it like that, we need a publicly accessible intercepts location attribute here that calls for all three of those, so something like this here. We will go over what line and column that exactly would be right now. There's just one last thing we need to set up, and that is some usage rules. You see, interceptors have a few rules themselves that only permit us to use it in a specific way. However, right now we can use this attribute in whatever way we want, which can and will lead to errors down the road. To make sure we avoid those, we use attribute usage here, so let's do just that. Right above the internal class declaration here, we start this line with 2 squared brackets, where we write our attribute usage line. This needs a few arguments, which will be the ones serving us to limit the attribute's usage. Those would be on what we can use this. So what element can this attribute be used on? In our case, that'll be methods. So write attribute targets dot method right here, and now technically it already works. However, we can also add this right here. So allow multiple equals true to make sure we can use this interceptor more than once in our code. Right, and that would be the helper class done. With that, we now have the interceptor ready to be used in our project. As you might have guessed, this is the same procedure you'd need to go through to update your older projects to use interceptors in. Just make sure that the project actually uses .NET 8 though. Right here in this file we added it earlier. Okay, now on to actually trying this out. Let's start by creating a method that we can call and make a basic program we can then use to intercept later. For that, create a new class again and call it, for example, interceptor methods. Good. Now in here, to make sure we are within the same namespace, let's add our project's namespace right here, followed by our class name set to public, so that it's accessible in other classes. Next, create any method you like to clearly see the interception happen. I'll just create a simple console printout here, stating that this comes from the original method with a parameter attached. You'll see why in a second. So, hello name from original method. Great. Next, in the main method, which in this case you will need to give the interceptor the necessary context, so make sure to have one in the same namespace as the method we just created, something like this. We need to add the interceptor methods class in so we can access its methods. So create a new variable that will contain the class here. Call it just the same name but with a lowercase first letter, or however you prefer. And then new interceptor methods. Next, we just call the method from our interceptor methods class. And right, add the name you wish to pass in, for example, Dennis. And just to further exemplify, let's add a readline method right under here. Again, you'll see why in a second. Perfect. Now we just need to run it and see if our base program works already. And sure enough, it does so flawlessly. Perfect, now it's time to intercept this method call. Now that our project is ready, let me show you how easy it is and how powerful this really is. So we'll go back to your interceptor methods class. We'll be working just in here to set up our interceptors. For that, we need to add down here a new public static class that we can call interceptor extensions. In here, we can quickly create a almost identical method as our original method, but call it intercepted method. Here we keep the name parameter. As you can see, this means that we can continue using the parameters that have been sent to the original method call. See why we added that before? You just had to see that here. And now we also add this interceptor method's myClass as a parameter to the intercepted method. And there we go. Now there's just one thing missing, the interceptor logic. Now we are going to use our new attribute, and here is how. We will use it by writing just on top of intercepted method between square brackets intercepted location and open parentheses. Great, remember what we prepared in our helper class? Don't worry if you don't. Visual Studio will guide you through every necessary parameter you will need to add. If you hover over this, it will tell you, like right here, how there is no file path specified. So let's just follow along and fill out our parameters. As said, first it'll be the file path, as we want to use the program CS file. Because we want to intercept a method call in there, we can simply right click on the tab here and copy full path. Then back here, add, and between quotation marks, paste the path in. Great. Next it asks us for the line and column. This you can actually get really easily using Visual Studio. Going back to the programming class, click right before the method name in the call here. And if you now look further down to this right here, you'll see this ln and cr with some numbers. Well, those are your line and character, or column if you prefer. With this, you can now go back to the attribute here and write line and the line number and column with the column number. That'll be it. We got it ready. And just in case you don't believe me, let's run this. There it is. This time the original method was called, but it was immediately intercepted to run our own method instead, as you can see by the from intercepted method here. This shows how it's working the way we expected it to. And not only that, but we got the parameter that was sent. As you can see, at no moment was the intercepted method called with a parameter. So we grabbed that from the other method call. And not only that, the interceptor only intercepted this method, nothing else. Remember how we put a read line right after? Well, as you can see, this is still being executed, meaning that it just stopped that method from launching, executed a different method and went right back to the execution order it previously was at. All that without interfering, modifying, or doing anything at all to the original method or the main program method. I hope that this shows you how incredibly necessary this new functionality was for C#. And well, as you probably know, some other languages already had something similar maybe, or that same feature. So C# was missing that for quite a while and quite a lot as well. But now that we have it, what can we use it for? Well, what would you use it for? Do you think it would be interesting for us to think of a few example projects and show them to you in our next videos? Make sure to let us know in the comments below. We are excited about this new update and want to hear your opinion on it. Other than that, remember to like the video if you want more of this kind of content. If you haven't already subscribed, then just do so. Or go watch another video that we have on our channel, like this one about all the other big things C#12 will bring with this update. Or before you go any further with this, maybe you should check out if you even should continue learning C#. I mean, we like it and all, but is it really still worth it nowadays? With that said, good luck with your projects and happy coding. See you in the next video.